I'd like to share with you my teacher toolkit, and I show 5 technology tools for the science classroom. The first one is the Pilot. This is an earpiece that can be worn. This falls into the category of wearable technology and bring your own device in some ways. And this is a device that you put in a student's ear, and it can translate between 2 languages instantaneously. I picked this because I see the need for this in my classroom. I have 7 ESOL students, and there is one ESOL teacher for where our school is over 900 students, and she's stretched really thin, and we do not have translators for when we're in the class with these students. And I just see, even in explaining vocabulary and definitions or working in groups, I see the benefit of this with being able to get that immediate translating information that students often need to understand what is going on in class. I picked Quizlet Live. Quizlet Live is a collaborative learning, but also gaming. And when this particular game, what students do is it assigns them into groups, and then they play a game learning their vocabulary. And I guess I say collaborative learning in the sense that since they are in a group and they are working together to win this game. If you've ever used Quizlet, Quizlet is a website that helps students learn vocabulary through flashcards. But this takes it to another level, and I definitely see the benefit of this. I chose this tool because it's helping my students learn their vocabulary better. And I see that in my room because students are studying their vocabulary more now in an effort to win this game when we play it in class. BlendSpace falls into the category of the trend of online learning, blended instruction, and it provides teachers a platform to communicate information. And I chose this tool because in some of my classes, they do some online units outside of class, and my school does not pay for a learning management system, and Google Classroom just kind of doesn't cut it for creating online units. And so this is a free resource. And you can always tell students, like in a blended atmosphere, you can tell students, we're outside of class, you're going to complete tiles 1 through 4. But in class, we're going to be doing that dynamic periodic table while we conduct this lab that we do when we meet face to face. I also picked Gizmos. Gizmos fall into the virtual learning tool. And this definitely helps students in the inquiry area. You can generate a lab that you may not be able to do in real life in a classroom setting, like for instance, the example I gave when you read this about breeding chickens. But you can give the gizmo to students and have them figure out about genetics, have them figure about how dominant traits versus recessive traits, or when things are co-dominant through inquiry. And I chose this tool because I see the value of it in my classroom with, like I said, with doing experiments that we cannot conduct in class, and the value with getting students to make connections and draw their own conclusions without necessarily guiding them to the answer. Having them figure it out just requires so much critical thinking, which is so important for our students. And then I also have building topographic maps, and this falls into that trend of visual technologies. And this is a consumer technology. It wasn't necessarily meant for education, but I picked this tool because one of the things I have to teach is topography. And when students see these maps of lines, sometimes it's hard to get an idea of what that really translates into in real life. And on this particular website, you can go anywhere in the world and look at satellite images of people and then say, I'd like to walk from point A to point B, and it will immediately generate a topographic profile. And so if you use this in conjunction with topographic maps and look at an area first, then actually go there with satellites using the website, and then make a path across that town or that area, they see how that map really comes to life using that. All right, these are my support resources. This particular website gives information about the earpiece that translates. It keeps customers up to date on possible launch dates, interviews with designers, and I'm sure more information will come out about this particular tool after it is in development and being sold. This website for Quizlet Live is from a gentleman called Nick's Picks for Ed Tech, and he talks about why you should use it. And he also gives an overview of Quizlet Live, how to create a game, and how to utilize the review that happens at the end of the game. This is a blog where he did a review of Quizlet Live, and it gives teachers an idea of what using Quizlet would be like in their classroom and whether they feel like this tool would benefit you. And this one here, this is a source that discusses the release of the game and how students are now practicing their words beforehand so that they can win the Quizlet game live. And that was also something that I noticed to be true in my classroom. When you go over here with Blendspace, the support resources, this first video, it shows how Blendspace and talks about how Blendspace can be used as a collaborative research in presentations, and just supports the idea of how well it can do that. This particular YouTube video, this video goes into discussing how Blendspace can be used to flip your classroom. And this last one is Common Sense Media rated Blendspace, and they gave it 3 out of 5 stars by them and 4 out of 5 stars by teachers. And you can see how it got its rating on Common Sense Media, or not Common Sense Media, Common Sense Education. And then we also have on Common Sense Education, we have a review of Gizmos. It got 4 out of 5 stars by both the reviewer and by teachers. And then this particular website here, this is a blog where a woman talked about using gizmos and just how beneficial they were for her. And this would definitely help a teacher see how to use, or how this would benefit using them and using it in their class. And then this particular resource right here, this discusses what the site does and how this can be used simply and what features it has. And a teacher could easily look at that and decide how to use this in their classroom. You'll find on this slide teacher training activity materials. This is a video on how to use Quizlet Live. It does a really good job of explaining what it looks like from a teacher point of view, but also what it looks like from a student point of view. And then this is a link to use Explore Learning, which is the website Gizmos are on. And it is a quick start tutorial, and this is an article to know how to do that. And then finally, I have my technology enhanced lesson plan here. And this is a lesson plan that I have used in class where we use a gizmo as a part of the entire lesson, where when we get to a section where we learn about gravitational potential energy, rather than me telling the students what the relationship is with distance and mass and gravitational attraction, I have them figure it out themselves using the gizmo, and then we reconvene as a class and we evaluate what they observed and what they concluded based on their observations. And my students to retain that material so much better because they figure it out themselves first using the gizmo before I explain it to them or show them.